Hey guys, some of you requested that I do a tutorial for this. Nope. I'm dyslexic, I'd probably still read it wrong. Hey guys, some of you requested that I do a tutorial, so I will be recreating this look inspired by Pride Month. Alright, let's get into it. So, I will not be doing my full face on camera. I want this specifically just to be focused on my eyes. So I already did prep my skin with moisturizer, did my eyebrows, but we're just gonna be going right into the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna be going in with a white concealer as my base. Personally, I like to use a concealer over a primer, especially a white one, because I feel like it's true to its pigment. It's more pigmented versus if I was to use an eyeshadow primer. But you can use whatever you prefer. So what I'm doing right now is just going in on my eyelid and setting all of it with the white concealer. All right. Now once that's all set and you have it all buffed out, you're gonna wanna make sure you have enough brushes for each color. Now it does not matter what your brush is, you're gonna wanna use kind of a more fine, small brush. But the brand and the name of the brushes do not matter. I'm gonna be starting with the yellow, and I'm just gonna go in, and keep in mind, what palette I'm using is irrelevant. You can use James Charles, you can use BH, your preferred palette, and pack it in right to the corner of your eye, right on the top. So I did a really big section in the corner of my eye. You're gonna wanna do that because we're gonna blend the orange into this corner of the yellow. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Okay. Now that I got that really saturated, keep in mind you can always go back in and pack more. Now we're gonna wanna grab our orange color. So we're gonna put that yellow brush to the side because we're gonna use it again. Okay, so now using a different clean brush, we're gonna go in a little bit over the yellow and blend them together because we want it to be seamless. We want it to look like we're fading into the rainbow. Also, I'm going right up to my eyebrow. You do not have to do this. If you wanna leave a little space, that's fine, but I'm out here. So good. Okay. So the key to this whole entire look is blending. Literally, you're gonna sit here for a while. This is gonna take you at least 2 hours, I promise you. That already looks really good. Now we're gonna be taking another clean brush, dipping into a really vivid red. I'm so excited for my eyes to be stained. I'm just buffing that out. I don't tap the excess off either.
What palette I'm using is irrelevant.
I think I need to put a little more orange. And this is where different brushes come in handy because I just did the red and I feel like you can't see the orange as much. So now I'm gonna go back in with my orange brush and buff in between the red and the yellow to make my orange pop a little more. Yeah, so my next color is purple. Touching into this light violet. I'm too poor. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. And I think I'm gonna wing this out. I'm trying to remember what I did when I did it the first time, but I think I'm gonna wing it out. Yeah, I need a darker one. But yeah, blending those together. And then I'm gonna touch into a little darker purple and go over. I'm gonna have carpal tunnel after this video. I'm gonna go in with blue. Like I said, just dipping into the brush. You can always add more. Just buffing into that. make sure you blend them together really well. And if you're having trouble, if you don't have a really good pigmented palette and you're having troubles with the colors blending together, take a separate brush that has nothing on it and buff them. That'll help it out a lot. This is working out pretty well so far. Alright, and then I think my last color is green. And then we already have the top layer done. Go back in with my purple again. I like overlapping the colors because I really feel like it makes them blend together better. My eyebrow's slowly disappearing. Okay, and now we just need our green. And now I'm gonna be dipping into this one. Ooh, those are not blending together well. It's okay, we're gonna fix it. There we go. Okay. Now don't worry about blending this out yet because we still have to put our foundation on, so that doesn't matter. Also, I used a lot darker colors this time. Last time I did this look, it was a little too pastel, so now I'm really saturating it this time. Okay, so now we are going to be cutting the crease. What you're gonna wanna do is take a concealer of any color. Grab a little fine flat brush. You're gonna want it to be as small as possible because we're gonna get really detailed. You know what? I might even get a smaller one than that. The concealer color does not matter because we're gonna be wiping it off anyways. The only reason we are using this right now is because we're giving ourselves an outline of what we're gonna cut out, like a coloring book. It'll just help us along the way. So I'm just kind of saturating the brush. Now, if you need help doing a cut crease, this is not the video for you. You're gonna wanna actually over-exaggerate the cut crease. So I have very big eyelids, I'm sorry. We are gonna be doing 3 like stripes of rainbow. If you have smaller eyelids, feel free to do 2. If you have super hooded eyelids, just do the 1 and call it a day. But I'm actually, how I figure out where to cut my crease is I follow where my crease of my eyelid is and I look up and then it makes like that little line. Because we're gonna wanna over exaggerate it a little bit and then slowly going in and making it bigger. Because I kind of winged it out. Okay, I know this looks super crazy, but what you're gonna wanna do, you can either take some handy dandy cotton swabs or take a makeup wipe and wipe all that extra concealer we just put on there. Now, to clean this up a little bit and get a really fine line, I'm gonna go in with some Garnier Miracle Cleanser Water. This stuff is a cut crease game changer. So just kind of dip that in. Because the whole point of the concealer was to make that really defined line. So now I'm just gonna be going in and wiping up the concealer. And really take your time doing this part because if you accidentally wipe something you don't want to wipe, it's going to be so hard to fix it and you're probably going to have to start over. now I'm just taking a dry one because my eye is pretty saturated and just wiping any leftover miracle water, any concealer. Now you should be left with something like this. And now we're gonna go back in once again with our concealer brush. Like I said earlier, you're gonna want a really fine brush because we have to do this another time and it's gonna get more difficult each time. And just take a little bit and coat the eyelid. Now make sure that you don't go over that line we just created. We want it to be seamless. Feel free to drag that to the bottom of your eye because we're gonna clean it up later anyways. Okay. Now that that looks like that, that's actually pretty good. So now we're gonna do the opposite of what we did on the top eye. We're gonna start with the green because we don't want the two to blend. We want the opposite of what we did on here. And go right in the corner. And try not to get it on the yellow. Overlapping that with the green. Remember, blend a bunch. That is the key to this look, to be honest. A lot of patience and a lot of blending. Now we're going back in with that light purple. I'm just using all the same colors over again. Now I'm just dipping into my red and I'm gonna blend that with my purple. I kind of am at a tricky spot right now. See how the purple and the red kind of cross paths? You're gonna wanna make sure you drag the purple all the way to the purple on this side and have the red over there. Because we don't want this to blend. We want to be able to see that little line. All right, so now I'm gonna be touching into my orange. Always going in with a lighter color because you can't always go darker. If you want to be more subtle and pastel and kind of cute. All right, and now I'm just gonna dab into this yellow and buff that into the orange. So now we're gonna be going back in with the concealer. This is our last one that we're gonna be doing. Now this one, you're just gonna do like a regular cut crease. You wanna be able to see your whole eyelid. This one's gonna be pretty thick. So this one, we're just gonna do basically our eyelid. And take your time because if you mess it up, there's no going back. You're screwed. I wish I had like a life hack, but you're gonna have to redo it.
I'm out of my mind, I overreact. I took a pill, I took a lap. Facing my fears, caught them in half. Facing the mirror, gotta relax, yeah. Relax, relax, relax.
Yeah. I like to take a makeup wipe first only because I go really heavy with the concealer and I wipe the bigger majority of the area and then I like to go in with the Q-tip and clean it up. That's just my preference. If you don't want to use makeup wipes and be a better person than me and save the earth, then just use Q-tips. Oh my god, I got it in my eye. when your parents yell at you. You're a kid.
Yeah, I'm out of my mind. I overreact.
Okay, so I kind of goofed up and I got some concealer where I wasn't supposed to, so I'm gonna try to fix it.
Facing the mirror, gotta relax, yeah. Relax, relax, relax.
I'm just going back over with my color and fixing it a little bit, but it was like the smallest amount. Now that I cleaned up my act, so now I'm just going in with my white concealer and just tracing where I have no eyeshadow. Kind of cheated, it does have all the colors. I'm blending that out because we're gonna turn this into a wing, and you'll see. I'll do that in a second. So now what you're gonna want to do, take your makeup wipe, or you can take makeup remover and just kind of swipe up to the top of your ear. It looks like we winged it ourselves, and it's still faded and beautiful. Now I'm just cleaning up underneath my eye because there is a little fallout. But otherwise, that's one eye done. Now that I have the first eye completed, I'm gonna go and do my second eye off camera and then finish the steps from there. And now that I finished my other eye, this is what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna go off camera and do my full face and then come back and finish my under eye and lash with you guys. Alright, now take a little bit of setting spray and just mist yourself. Get a little clean, fluffy brush, tap into some glitter, and just kind of put that all over around your eye. And you can do big chunks, little chunks. Alright, now we're gonna go back in with our colors again and do underneath our eye. So I'm gonna connect the green from the second and just blend that underneath my eye with a small brush. And I purposely waited to do this part till the end because you kind of want it to blend in with your foundation. And touch any colors up if you have to. All right, now with another clean brush, you want it to be a fluffy brush. Take some translucent powder and buff those colors so then it blends in. And then once it's blended out good enough or to your liking, take your mascara once again and coat your bottom lashes very lightly. And this is the finished look. I'm just gonna set it and lock it all in with a little bit of setting spray. Now, the first time I did this look, I did do it a little bit lighter. I used more pastel colors. So the second time around, I wanted to try using more pigment, so it was a little bit brighter for Pride. I personally like this second version a lot more. I think you can see it's a lot more detailed. I can see all the colors. The line work is great. And the second time around that I did this, I felt like it was a lot easier. So if you are looking for a rainbow look for Pride, this is definitely one you can kick off. If I can do it, I know you can do it. It's not that complex. I know it looks hard. It's just more time consuming and technique. But if I can pull it off, I think you can too. I'm learning, I'm trying. I promise it'll get better. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. I promise I'll work harder next time. Wrap it up.